If you are a parent, you know how tough the pandemic is on our kids. They can't see their friends, so many still not back in the classroom. A lot of screen time, right? Just glued in and trying to handle the time any way they know how. But this can also be stressful for our entire family. Tonight, we're going to get some help, and it's all thanks to a virtual workshop from the group notMYkid. So this morning, Kristen Polin is here. She's the CEO. I want to thank you for being here. You know, so much of this is about starting this conversation, doing sort of a temperature, mental health check with our kids.
Absolutely, and I'm so glad you brought it up that way. As a mom of two teenage boys, and I know there's a lot of parents, caregivers, grandparents that are watching. I think the most important thing that we want to get across to parents is no matter where you are in the spectrum of how this pandemic has affected you and your kids, we are here for families, and we are offering a webinar tonight to have some courageous conversations about something you had mentioned around screen time, isolation. There's a lot of things that even before the pandemic hit were considered epidemics in our community. I know you've covered a lot of these stories. The epidemic of suicide, the epidemic of the opioid crisis that we have in this community. And I can tell you that, 2021's continued to bring some blows, some grief. There was another teen that lost his life a few days ago to an opioid overdose. So these things are still happening, and these things are happening to our kids as well, where they're losing friends. So it's been a pretty tough week. It's been a tough year. Some will say day to day it's tough. So we just want to have a courageous conversation about that tonight and how we can be there for families and show up for our kids.
You mentioned the word isolation, and so I'm going to go there. I mean, that's been tough for adults as well. You also mentioned a courageous conversation. A lot of this is about getting vulnerable with each other. We do feel alone. A lot of us feel like we don't have anyone to talk to, and this is the forum to maybe bounce ideas off of each other. Maybe you'll gain something just to trigger a conversation with your kid. It could be life-saving, and that's not an overly dramatic statement here.
It's not. I think, the most vulnerable I've ever been in my career is right now. And I'm joined by two other moms who are amazing tonight, Katie McPherson, Geronda Montano, the three of us together. I think the time we've spent in crafting what is the message we want to share, it's that parents aren't alone. I think that this has taken a toll. Wherever people are in that stage of grief, some people are actually experiencing a ton of grief, losing people during this pandemic, but our kids have also lost a lot with that uncertainty and just the everyday normal that they used to have. We're not necessarily calling it the new normal. We know things are going to get better, but we know over time what we're going to have to really assess on mental health is what is happening right now that they might carry with them into the future. So those are the conversations we're going to be having on ways to manage that. And we'll introduce a support community that we are opening up at notMYkid now that we offer behavioral health services.
Okay, I'm so glad you mentioned that because we are offering hope here in the form of help. Thank you for being with us this morning. We really appreciate it. I want to give our viewers the information. That webinar, it's happening tonight. Just head to notMYkid.org. You guys do so many great things. Thank you for this. We really appreciate your time this morning.
Absolutely.
You have to register.
Check out events. That's where the page is to register.
You got it.
Yeah,
Thank you.
Great information there.